So today, I've been doing a lot of seminars over the past couple months, so I thought it might be good to kind of uh, open it up to questions and uh, answer people's whatever they might be regarding um, any of the topics, whether it's DocuSign, OneNote, Teams, whatever. I have some questions on OneDrive. I have some questions on Teams, so I'll be going through those. Also, some people had some questions on Lastpass. So use the chat window. Use the Q&A, whichever you prefer, and we'll go from there. So to begin with, let's go through one of the first questions I got was, what's the difference between OneDrive Personal and OneDrive Business, and how do I make sure I'm using the right one? And I thought that was a good one because I'm going to bring that up and take down this PowerPoint. I just put the PowerPoint up there for this slide. So let's look at OneDrive. So what I learned the hard way when I first started using OneDrive quite some time ago was I guess I was not doing it right, because my OneDrive Personal and OneDrive for Business, I was trying to use the same email address. So you actually should have a different email address for OneDrive for Business than you do for your personal. They should not be the same. And when you set those up, you should sign in with a personal email address, which in my case, I created a free one from Microsoft at Outlook.com. And I learned that by working with Microsoft. They came back and told me when I was doing some setup for Azure that I needed to have a personal account for secondary authentication. And they explained why, that Microsoft wanted you may have a corporate account, but you also need to have a personal account. So one of the things to consider with, let me switch screens here so I can show you. See, hopefully you're seeing screen one now. Okay, so it's hard to see at the bottom, but I have two cloud symbols here. If I zoom down here, you can see them. I'll bring them up here. These little symbols here, I know this is showing a lot, but those two cloud symbols, there's a blue one and a white one. I'm trying to show you my taskbar. I don't really have, I guess there's a way I could magnify, but you see I have a blue one and a white one. OneDrive Blue is the business version. OneDrive White is my personal version. And when I'm signed into my personal version, if I bring that up, I am going to open that folder up and I'm seeing my personal files under OneDrive Personal. OneDrive Business is my justinc.com one. So why is this important? Is you get a lot more space in your OneDrive Business than you do the personal. The personal one is actually limited. If you look at it, it's trying to upsell me to premium, which I don't want. So I really want to use the OneDrive for Business, which gives me my terabyte of space. So this would be a personal area to save your own personal documents. This would not be a company one. This is not company managed. So I just wanted to clarify that, because people on the seminar, when I talked about OneDrive, didn't understand, and I didn't really delve into the corporate version, the business version versus the personal version. So they are two different ones, and the best way for you, you can't use the same login for both. You need to have one that is your own personal email. It could be a Gmail account, outlook.com, live.com. They'll give you a free account. You can use your Gmail free account, whatever you want to use for your OneDrive personal. Your business one needs to be your business login. That business login is also going to be the one, when you open that up, it takes you to OneDrive for your business, and that is actually tied to your company and also tied to your company's SharePoint. So if we come up here to my SharePoint, that is also using my company login and for my company SharePoint, and my company SharePoint login is my company domain name, davidw@justinc.com. The personal one is my dawolf18 at outlook.com. So again, I'm just trying to show you there is a difference between these two. So that was a question. Another common question I was asking was about Teams itself. And making channels and teams. Now you see we have quite a few teams here. And how do you make a new one? Well, you literally down here at the bottom, if you look at your screen, if you have Teams open, you just say create a team. You click right here. And you can create a new one, or you can join a team. Now, you might be joining a team if you were sent a code from somewhere else, because you can actually join teams with other people. So I am a member of the 6 team. Let me bring this over. So here you create the team. You have the choice to see. I have 2 teams I'm a member of. My Just Inc. Or 2 organizations, I should say. I want to be careful here. I use the right words. You can be a member of multiple organizations when using Teams. Then you can have the teams, and other teams you have the channels. That's kind of how the hierarchy works. So organization, teams, channels. And you can see I'm a part of 2, but I'm a guest in the 6. So if you have multiple organizations, maybe a nonprofit you're involved in, plus a company you work for, or multiple company divisions or whatever, and they're going to have separate organizations, you can be in multiple and you switch between them. You can't be in them at the same time. I actually switch between them, and now I'm in my accountability group, and I'm seeing my channel for my accountability group, and I'm seeing my chat windows and my activities with my accountability group, and I am a guest. The team was built by our captain, and then the rest of us members are just guests in that team. So I'm going to switch back over to Just Inc. And now I can create a new team. When you create this new team, you can build it from scratch, or you could create it from Office 365 group or team. Now, what's that mean? Office 365 group, let's open Office 365. I'll bring it up in Edge. And if I log in, and here's my multi-factor, please, if you haven't done this yet, please work on getting your multi-factor enabled for your Office 365. We're happy to help you do that. So I just got the text to my phone, and I'm putting in the code. And then if I go into admin, I can build Office 365 groups if you're an administrator. You won't be able to build an Office 365 group. This is where they're built. Here's how you can build the groups. You can do that as an administrator. So you're not an administrator, okay, that's fine. You can still build a team, so you can build one from scratch. So anyone can build a team. So we build one from scratch, and then this is very important. Can anyone from your organization? Are you going to do private? So private is if it will build your security the way you need it. So think about what your need is. If you're building a private group, and that was one of the questions I got, is how do I set up private groups? This will secure it. This means this group will be by members only. only those members will be able to see the chat. Only those members will see the files. So all the permissions will be built behind the scenes in Office 365 for you to manage this team. And no one can get into that team if they're not a member of it. And so if we pick private, you can give it a name. Whatever it might be, you can tell people a description of what it's for, and then you hit create. It builds all the background structure, builds it into groups for you, and now you can start adding members. You can even add by other groups. So if you want to, if there's a subset, if I want to say my SLT are all, didn't find the SLT, but I can say, let's see, find members. I can add Allison. I can add Andrea. Okay, and now I'm creating a private admin group. Once I do that, they're members. I hit close. I will have a new group over here, private admin group. I then can come in here and I can manage the group and manage the team, edit the team, add new members. I can add a channel, and then I can also make this private as well. So you can have it private within the group, within the team. So you can have a private group, a private team. You can have a channel that is open, and you can have a channel that's private. Let me just check and see if there's any questions coming in here. Yeah, you can use AOL.com. Any personal email address will work for your personal OneDrive account. So then you're asking, what's the channel name? So this is the subset. So now I'm saying the channel, say, well, it builds a general, but I might have a and I might have had a lot of people in this team. So now I say, well, I only want Allison in this one. And then I'm done. So now, I mean, I know I don't have a lot in this group, but just to give you an idea, I have a private admin group, which is a total of 3 of us. And then I have a general channel where all of us can see, and then I have a private notes that only Allison and I can see. And that's how you can build your security. And you can change this right here by going to the 3 elliptical here, the options. You click on the more options and you can manage that channel, and you can add members, and you can build that, edit it, change it as you go. So this is where you just have to pay attention to the security for making sure you're setting up a team with security. So you can have as many teams as you want. So you can have, the question was, can I have like 20 teams of 3 people? Sure, absolutely. Can I be a member of all of them? Yes. Can I have different people in them? Yes. Can you have sub-private channels? Yes. So you can have private conversations, you can have a general conversation, and you can do those within channels within the team. So it's very, very powerful. Now, the next question I had was, how does OneNote play with this? Well, OneNote lets you have within a channel, by the way, this is all built behind the scenes. What's all being built is all the structures being built in SharePoint for you, which is really, really amazing. So they're doing all the heavy lifting for us in the back. So we can go in a particular channel and say, let's go add a OneNote just for those people. And it will create a private admin notebook for that team. So now you have a OneNote notebook that only those people can share, but you'll be able to get access to it from all your other devices. It automatically made it read-only to begin with, but Now you have a notebook in that channel. This is the general one. I can put that's the private admin group, but everyone in the general channel can see it. I could then even have another notebook that's private in the private notes notebook. So you can have multiple notebooks within the channel, within the team, within the organization. Hopefully that hierarchy is starting to make some sense for you. And again, you can control these. Once you build it this way, you can go to any device, bring up my Teams. I can go to my phone right now, or I could go to my tablet. I could go to another computer, and I can open up my Teams, and I can see that information. Let me know if there are any questions on that. So I went through creating a channel, creating a team, and creating a channel in a team, creating a private channel in a team, creating it, and then also adding a notebook inside a OneNote inside of the team. How would you upload files? You simply, when you're in the channel here, if you reference a file in here, if you put a link of file in here, it will add it automatically into the files. It will also allow you to add directly here by clicking on Files tab and saying, I want to upload. And I click Upload, and it'll look at recent files for me. And now I just uploaded a new file, Word document or a PDF, and it's now in the files for this channel, for this team. So it's built down through the hierarchy. Well, do the members of the team have to have Office 365? We'll have to test that. I don't know if they really have to have the 365 account. There are some free versions. So yeah, you can get a free version of Teams. And then when you're inside of Teams, you can actually work on the documents internal to Teams. But I guess I'd have to do more experimentation with that. So good question. We'll have to try and see how that works. But here's a cheat sheet on Outlook Mail for Windows. It's a PDF, and I'm viewing it right inside the system. We'd have to test that. That's a good question, and I'll have to follow up with you on that. So uploading to Teams was just that easy. You click the upload button. You can download just as well, and you can also go open up in SharePoint as well. One of the big features in Teams is all these third-party add-ons or apps. I have not played with all of them, but there's just a zillion of them. I think current count's a couple hundred, almost 300. Some of them may be familiar to you. MailChimp, integration to MailChimp. There's even integration to Bitbucket if you're doing programming, and just scroll through them. You can see how many there are. So you can play around with those. Most of these are free. Some may cost money, but that's, again, because it is like an app library, kind of like the App Store, that kind of thing. So I don't know if you use Zoho, or here's Lifesize. If you're a Lifesize user, there's a variety of them. Just to give you an idea there. Let's see. Any other questions with Teams? I think I hit on the questions that I got over the email. Next, I'm going to show you how to get in with Lastpass and what the choices are with Lastpass, because that was a common question. So let me know if there's any other questions there. Otherwise, let's go look at Lastpass. Now, Lastpass really is a plug-in program for your browsers. So it just opens up inside of your browser. It's a website. It's got a Chrome extension. It's got one for Edge. It's got a mobile app version to use your phone. So all of these sites that I store are saved in Lastpass. Let's go to their marketing site. Let's jump over and look at their marketing site. Now, we put a link on our site which is a referral link. So it tells you about it and it takes you to a free trial. So you come to their site and you can sign up for the free trial. So we're going to the marketing site. So you have a choice of personal business. You can have both. You can have a personal account and you can have a business account. You would want, again, to use the two separate email addresses when you build them. This is important. It's just like OneDrive Personal and OneDrive Business. You would want to have a separate one for your personal life, separate one for your business life. If you ever leave where you're working, then all your personal stuff will come with you. So the personal can be free, or you can buy family versions. Now this is a trial, so this is going to be free, but let's look at the pricing. So again, the trials just kind of get you hooked, right? Once you start using it, you kind of don't want to give it up, is kind of why they give it to you for free with the trial. But let's look at their pricing model, because they do have a free version right here. They have a premium version and a family version. Why are they giving you storage? Because they're giving you encrypted file storage. What would you store encrypted in LastPass? Maybe a copy of a insurance policy, your last will and testament, you name it, anything of a personal nature that you want to store, a copy of your deed, your title to your car, copy of your driver's license, copy of your passport. Say you're out of the country and you lost your passport. You could bring up on a screen a copy of your passport to get a paper version of it. Even if it's not the official one, at least you'd have a copy of it. So you could make copies of things and save them in LastPass, because LastPass is all encrypted, all secure, and you have access to it from anywhere. So this is the family version or personal version. You have personal, business, and then you have the family version. Remember, you need personal and you need business. You really, unless you're never going to separate those two, that's one thing. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. Now, the business plan, why? Oh, let me explain why. If you're on the business plan under, say, my company, and you leave working here, I'm removing your access to that business plan. So you wouldn't want all your personal data in there. You'd want to have it in your own personal account. But if you've been using the company one for all your personal information, when they shut you off access to that, you don't have it anymore. So that's just probably the clearest way as I can explain it to you, is why you want to have two separate ones. So you come under a business plan, now you have what they call this is with their multi-factor authentication, which we recommend. We are using Enterprise here at the company. And then this is something new that I haven't even read about. So I'll have to read up on what identity new is, but that's something new they've recently added. But here's the 3 levels for the business per user, teams, or enterprise. And for a company, what happens is now a company can manage who has access to which sites. You can create groups. You can create all kinds of different levels of security. So that's how you get LastPass. You can have the business or personal. You can get the trial. You will want to use a separate email address for each of those. And just like I talked about with the OneDrive per personal, so have a separate account for that. And then start using it, because it really is a fantastic solution for storing credit card, driver license information, social security numbers, birth dates, obviously the passwords, passcodes. Everything is fully encrypted all the time, and you just have to have a really good master password phrase. You have a really good password phrase that you don't give or share to anybody, and they have an in case of emergency feature, so you can say my spouse, my attorney, my significant other has access to my OnePass in case of an emergency. How cool is that? So again, they have these really nice features, and it's probably, from my review of all of them, I still think it's the number one solution out there. So that was the questions I had, how to get started with it, and what's the cost. So as you can see, free for an individual and pretty reasonable as you move up the scale, even for a business. Really isn't terribly expensive. So let us know if you have any questions on that. We're happy to help you. Again, you can go to justinc.com/lastpass, and that will get you the link to the free trial. Next thing, question about 2FA or MFA. People are hearing a lot about MFA, 2FA, and I've been asked this many times. So what is it? Let's go to Wikipedia. Hey, I love Wikipedia. By the way, they are a nonprofit, so I do donate to them once a year. You might want to consider donating to them as well, because it is a nonprofit. What is multi-factor? What is two-factor? They're similar. One's a subset. Two-factor is a subset of multi-factor. It's a method for confirming your claimed identity. It's a way that it sends you a combination of you typed in your user ID, and then you put in your password, and then they send you a text with a code, and then you match up that code back. Multi-factor is something that you have in your possession, and it uses some knowledge that only you have and that they have at the other end. So public-private key, and also a lot of times it's using a token system or token software. The ones that we like, that we use, is Authy. This is the program we use. It's free, and we download it and use it, and it works with a lot of different programs. There's paid programs like Duo. Duo is now owned by Cisco. If I'm correct, they got bought by Cisco, and pretty sure they're owned by Cisco now. I remember seeing that somewhere. But you can sign up with Duo, and they are a paid version for using the two-factor, multi-factor authentication solution. And then, so how do these work? What happens is you enable multi-factor on the application, and then you have to match your name. So let's go over to, let's see if I can jump in and show you mine. So here I have manage my multi-factor authentication. I'm in Office 365. I have multiple, if you can see that, we'll get rid of all this other background. Oh, I closed everything down. Just wanted that one window. I guess I can. It's just a pop-up in there. So kind of try to make it. So right here, this is my account in Office 365. As an administrator, you come in and you manage multi-factor. You turn it on. And when you enable that, we have an enforced for our accounts. You see enforced. I come into mine and I can manage my user settings, and I make sure that we have multi-factor enabled for me, and you turn it on for each person. So this is kind of the key is how you manage it for each user, but this is kind of administrative task. This would be your Office 365 admin would do it. An end user wouldn't be worrying about that. They would enable it, and then you would be required to use multi-factor when you connect. I showed that screen. I can bring up that PowerPoint. I had it up earlier. You come in here, you log in, and then you get, I thought I had a prompt right here. You get, this is the prompt you see that tells you I'm logging in. Here is the URL link that I showed in the class for Office 365. This is what's called a tiny URL. I built the shortcut for you to get you to the directions on how to set up MFA for an admin. And this is kind of looks like what it looks like here, because this is sending a text to my cell phone. And you can also do it to an MFA app. So Duo and Authy are apps. This is being text directly to my phone with not to an app, but you can do it pretty much a variety of different ways based on different websites and programs that you use. So there's not necessarily just one size fits all. We do use different ones as well. Let's see if I can get to the chat. Where's the chat window? Huh. Yes, Lastpass still works locally, but then if you don't have access to the internet, the information may not be there. So yeah, you get to it either over your cell phone. That's why I have it on my cell phone as well. So if your internet's down in your office or in your computer, well, there's probably a lot you're not able to do if you don't have your internet. We've become pretty super dependent on it today. But fortunately, it works over the cellular network as well. So you don't necessarily have to have your PC or laptop online. Okay. So I went over that. What about using it on your personal computer or over your company VPN? It's highly recommended. If I try to connect to, well, I can't really do it internally because I am inside, but if you connect from home over your VPN, the best thing you can do is have the multi-factor enabled. So someone can't get in your corporate network with just your username and password. They have to have the username, password, and your username and password. Your account's been linked to a cell number or an app already, and they would have to have possession of your cell phone in order to be able to put that multi-factor code into the system from your phone. If you do the multi-factor via email and your email's been compromised, then that's only two-factor. You aren't really in super protected there. So you got to be careful if you use email multi-factor, just having it send you via email. Notice what I was showing here was this is actually a pop-up I'm getting, and it sent it to my phone as a text message. There are places that will email it to you. There are also the voice ones where they'll call you. That's good too. If they're calling a phone number, your direct phone number, then you can. My bank does that. My bank doesn't text me; they call me. One of the credit unions I have. So when I try to log in from a device they're not familiar with, it says what number you want me to call you at. It calls my cell phone, and then it tells me the 6-digit code verbally over the audio, and then I type that in on my computer screen to get into the bank. So that's how that works. So yeah, I would definitely get into using multi-factor wherever it's supported. You just have to have your phone with you all the time, and that really becomes important. But then you really made it, I'm not going to say impossible, but nothing's impossible, but near impossible for a hacker, next to them twinning your phone. Um, they really have no way of cheating the multi-factor piece without actually having your phone. So what other questions? Anybody else have any other questions? I know I've covered a lot of material. I went through all the questions that I was given. Well, not that fast, about a half hour, 35 minutes. If there are any others, I'm happy to talk about them. I guess the last thing I'd like to leave you with, if there are no other questions, is I'd like to talk about complex passwords and what's changing in the world of passwords. They're moving away, and they're the new standards and guidelines for passwords is asking you to use passphrases. And they're also changing the element of changing the password frequently. The problem with, so look what it says right here. This is the newest elements here. Remove periodic password reset requirements. For a long time, everyone was telling you to reset your passwords all the time, every 90 days, every 6 months. They're saying no. Why? Because now people are getting tricked by a phishing email telling them it's time to change their password, and they're doing it, and they're really not, and they're really giving their password to a third-party threat actor. So what they're saying is turn off the frequency and move to a complex password and multi-factor. So let's do a look at a, oh, all right, where's this music coming from? No idea. All right. Some advertising popping up. Okay, that was great. I don't know if you heard that, but I did. All right, so let's do, this is the only one that I like, this My One Login Meter. They promise that they don't collect your data. It says your passwords are never stored. Even if they were, we have no idea who you are. So I just want to show you that I go to this company for password tests. So you can take this URL and try it. And if you take, I'm going to type this, Mary had a little lamb. It says it's very strong, 417 years. That's a phrase. If I do your typical substitution, that password can get cracked instantly. And that's a word with substitution, where I substitute the @ symbol, substitute the 0 for the O, but it's 8 characters. So here I have an 8-character password and you're thinking, hey, that's a good password. Nope. So your passwords really need to be even longer. Even if I said $, oh, let's add 2020. Let's make it 202020. It's still, you know, it's still a shitty password. Oh, pardon my French. So a passphrase though is very strong. Carl, what's your question? You type it in the question or chat, and I'll be happy to answer. I can allow Charles, here, I can allow you to talk. I clicked on it, so you're unmuted. I said unmute. Where'd it go? Okay, Carl, if you want to talk, go ahead. Ask your question. You raised your hand. I don't know if you wanted to ask a question. But look how I did the password phrase. I like blue broccoli. I don't know if I spelled broccoli right, but I'm not the best speller, right, Allison? But here you have a phrase. And with a little substitution, I made it strong. And it says 27,000 years. By the way, everything we're learning about password protection is all going to be destroyed by quantum computing. It will be able to whip through every possible combination way faster than we can even imagine. So they're actually talking about having to come up with a whole new concept for passwords in the quantum computing space. If you're paying attention to quantum computing, it is not a fantasy anymore. IBM has running, they're on the 3rd generation quantum computing servers, and so have the Chinese and other companies. But here's how you test your password. I like to explain to you and emphasize that passwords are really your best protection, your true protection. Now, Lastpass will generate a password for you. So I can come in here to Lastpass and I can say passwords, security, wait, where is it? No, let's see, I want to go. Oh, generate a secure password. That's not where I normally get it because I'm in the browser. If I actually right click up here, it would have been easier. Probably go here to LastPass and do it. But here's LastPass. I have it set to 16 and I have it using all combinations. So this is the kind of password LastPass gives me. Let's come test that. So this is a generated password by LastPass. Let's come test it over here. Look at that. So it's generating a very strong password for you by LastPass is generating that. And that's why I use LastPass, is because every one of my sites has a different password and they're all super complicated. And it was kind of funny the other day, I went to a site and it wouldn't take my password. I'm like, why isn't it taking my generated password? Because it limited it to 15 characters, not 16. So I actually had to shorten it. They only supported between 8 and 15, which I thought was funny that they didn't allow me to support longer. But I just wanted to show you how I tested the password that LastPass generated, brought that over into this testing site, and it said that's a great password. And so that's what I do, is I use LastPass for all the different websites I go to, and I keep them all that complicated. And I don't have to remember any of them. I'm never going to remember this password. And I don't care. What I do care is that even if someone gets into this one account, that password's not going to work in anything else, and that's the key. Any other questions? I don't see any, but I did want to kind of talk about passwords and security there. The other thing that we've talked about before is phishing, and this is the company we use. We're a partner with them, and we purchased the product through a group buy with our association. So we got huge group licensing deal that saves all our customers money. But KnowBe4 is a way to help fish your people by sending them emails and seeing if they're gullible and they click on it. And you can keep testing them. And then if they do fall for it, you put them through some video training. And that video training, the first thing you do is you do a baseline. You run it behind the scenes without telling anyone for 30 to 60 days. You build a baseline. You kind of get a feel for where people are at in that. And then you actually start doing the training where you start teaching them. But you keep phishing them. And when someone fails, it takes them to a mandatory training. This is important as well. This is one of the new things we've been adding and recommending to our customers. So this is the user awareness training, because you might have a great password, but if you fall for a phishing attack, you may be submitting this password into a email or website that you responded to and giving them the credentials, and you don't want them to. Lastpass will never ask you for your master password. They do not know your master password. It is a one-way hash. They don't know what it is. They don't have it anywhere. So they can't even recover it for you. And I'm telling you that for a reason. That's how secure it is. So you get your master password that you need to know, that you never forget. And that's why I use a phrase that's really easy for you to understand. You use these complex long passwords from that LastPass generates for you for every separate website. And by doing that, you're securing separately. You're making every website its own silo, its own separate island. And if someone breaks into LinkedIn, they don't get access to your Facebook. They don't get access to everything else. Any other questions? If not, thank you for joining me this week on the Q&A session. Next week, we're going to be back with another class. I think, Allison, what topic did we pick? I thought we narrowed it down. It was either VoIP or backup. Which was it going to be? Do you recall which one we decided? I know we're going to be, we'll be sending out some email blasts for you, but we're going to be talking about how you back up your remote users. What are ways to back up your remote users? They're working from home, making sure that they're safe and secure. The other topic that we're interested in doing is VoIP. So what we're talking about there is we have a lot of people that are interested in moving to the cloud and getting away from a premise-based phone system, premise-based voicemail. This work from home thing's probably not going to go away. Even if we go back to coming to the office, there's still going to probably be quite a bit of work from home. So people are asking about how to work from home and use their phone and phone system remotely. So talking about a hosted phone system or mobile apps for your phone system is one of our other topics. So if you have a preference, let us know, but those are some of the topics that are going to be coming up on the next sessions of our Friday training that we're doing. Again, thank you for joining us, and have a great weekend and stay healthy.